The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Thank you for joining us today here on FRC Media. You know, we like to try to keep up to date with what's happening in our neighborhoods, and we're making it a point to speak to some of the representatives of our neighborhood associations across Fall River. Late last fall, we spoke with the Flint Neighborhood Association. Today, we're going to focus on the Corky Row Neighborhood. I'm pleased to be joined by Mark Conrad. He's the president of the Corky Row Neighborhood Association. Mark, thank you for joining me. How are you?
My pleasure. Great, Keith. Very, very, very good. Thank you.
You know, a lot of people may know Corky Row, but if you had to define where the neighborhood sits in terms of maybe its boundaries, how would you answer that?
Right. So for us, the northern part of the neighborhood association is Lion Street. Right. And then as you move west, you get to South Main Street. You work your way all the way down South Main Street. Eventually, you get to Hartwell. You can work your way across over to Hartwell Street at the most northern end of it. And then you can work from there over towards Plymouth Avenue and come back up again until you get all the way around to Lions.
So it's basically that Plymouth Avenue is sort of the east boundary, if you will?
It'll be the east boundary, yes.
Yeah. So how long have you been president of the association?
Probably right now, roughly, I'd say about 10 years.
Yeah. And what's that been like for you? And I guess how have things maybe changed in the last 10 years?
Right. So the number one thing I think we focused on with me and some of the other team members when we took over was to try to be able to improve the neighborhood in such a way that we could draw developers. We had so many boarded up multis in the neighborhood, and that invited trouble. And of course, we also had people coming to the neighborhood for the most part who were also causing trouble. So we focused very heavily on trying to decrease the crime. The Fall River Police were very effective with their gang task force, a number of other initiatives that they had. We really began educating the residents of the neighborhood not to invite bad people in, and that was a big part of the problem as well. Those folks moved out. We started seeing investment. I can't tell you of a single multi right now that's boarded up in Corky Row. They've built 5 luxury condos. The Corderos are getting ready to build what was the Edison building. There's just a lot of investment, and the community as a whole has improved dramatically.
And what does that mean in terms of quality of life for the people there?
Right. So when you go from, and we were keeping track of this, when you go from averaging about 35 arrests in the neighborhood to a dozen, and even those 12 arrests are really minor motor vehicle violations, warrants for things that happen outside the neighborhood, what you find is that people are more likely to first of all, move there. So that's why you see so much investment. There's lots of people to move there. But also you see people more active in the neighborhood itself. We do a number of activities in Griffin Park throughout the year. And then the city also does activities in the park also. Just makes it a very joyous place to live.
Now, I asked you this before we started, but Griffin Park is really like the hub, right? It's in the center of the neighborhood,
geographically a center.
Yeah, it really is where a lot of things happen, right?
Absolutely, it's where pretty much everything that happens in Corky Row, as far as a neighborhood, happens in Griffin Park.
And of course, there have been renovations there over the past few years that have made it more appealing. Just in your going through the neighborhood, do you feel in the warmer weather months, obviously we're recording this in the winter, so not a lot of activity at the park, no. But did you see a lot more activity in the park just in general?
Absolutely, no question. Well, first of all, so the city did a $300,000 renovation of the park a number of years ago. There's work that needs to be done, and the city's on top of that. We'll see some more renovations happen as the good weather gets here, but just the activities that we're involved in, that we put on, you'll see a lot more activity in the park.
And what are some of those other improvements that the city's looking to make? Right.
So in the basketball courts, which we got brand new basketball courts, we're seeing cracks now in them. And so those are trip hazards, and the kids trying to play basketball, it makes it more difficult. I know that the city's already looked into that. We're just waiting to hear the bids come out, and they'll go in. They're going to resurface the basketball courts. Trees have been put in since the renovation. One of the things we'll probably work on this year is that because of the use, we have a number of bald spots. And so we want to go in and work with the city to be able to repair those.
And you mentioned that the city has also been instrumental in providing events there. I know one of the bigger one is this the concerts in the parks.
That's it. That's the
right.
big one.
That's a big one in the summer. And how important is that to sort of invite the community to one big community event where people may have even seen someone maybe a couple of houses down, never interacted with them, but may do so in this environment.
Right. First of all, when we do city in the music in the park, I noticed that a lot of people not from Corky Row come to that event. I go to the ones that they have in the other parks as well. So they're joyous. So that draws people who probably never ever would have come into Corky Row to come in and see Griffin Park and see our neighborhood. Then for the people all around to see life within walking distance. Again, we're financially challenged. Not everybody has cars. So what happens is that people could just walk down the street, walk maybe a dozen blocks, and they can be getting first class, music performed live, and right there in their own neighborhood. And so it's a beautiful thing, and we're looking forward to it again this year.
One of the things, and I don't know if you have the backstory, but why was that neighborhood named Corky Row? Obviously, there's a Corky Row Club right there. Was that the genesis of some of that, or what do you know about the history?
Yeah, very good. So the Corky Row Club itself was founded in 1936. So what had happened was, and this is common for all cities, and frankly speaking, Fall River is no different. You have immigrants coming, and in that time period, in the late 1800s, early 1900s, you had a lot of folks not only coming from Ireland, they were coming from Cork County, Ireland. You go in the club, you can see the map painted on the wall, and right there at the bottom is Cork. And so as a result, with all these Irish moving from Cork, Ireland, it got the nickname Corky's Row.
So it was actually Corky's, as in apostrophe S? Or?
Yeah, well, no, I think the Irish people being moving there were called Corkys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that would be Corky's Row.
Very interesting. Now, in terms of activities for the Neighborhood Association, you hold regular meetings. When are they? Where are they? And how can people get involved?
Yeah, so we have our Neighborhood Association meet the first Monday of every month at 6:30 p.m. in the Corky Row Club.
So right there, right near the park, right in the middle, right?
A block up.
And how many people generally attend?
Not many. We're going to try again to try to get our neighbors to be more involved this year, but probably generally speaking about a half a dozen to a dozen.
And normally at the neighborhood meetings, there's usually a police representative will talk about activity in the area. So I guess if people were to attend, what can they expect to see at a meeting?
Right. So the first people you're going to hear from are the police. We ask the police to give us a report as best they can. We all questions for them, especially if something bad has happened. But they also give us advice. They hear from the neighbors, and they can go ahead and address specific issues. We have occasionally what we call trouble houses. And so a tenant from there or the landlord themselves will come to the meeting, and then they'll go ahead and they'll let the police know. The police will take notice, and then they'll step up their attention to that matter. We've had to have landlords either evict their tenants who are causing these problems or to sell the property to somebody who will manage it better.
You mentioned earlier that the development in the neighborhood has increased and the number of instances of crime has decreased, unfortunately. Are there still concerns? I mean, you probably walk that neighborhood every day in some way, shape, or form. Are there still concerns? What are some of those concerns in terms of public safety issues in that neighborhood?
Right. And it overwhelmingly is usually from somebody who doesn't live in Corky Row. So it's going to be the same thing, too. It's very rare nowadays, but we still have drug issues. People come there to sell drugs. If somebody comes there who wants to try to make the neighborhood their own, establish this turf and create a gang structure again, that's always something we're very susceptible to. But like I said, the police are very proactive in this area. And once we identify something, but generally speaking, no, there's no real serious issues, nothing that the rest of the city is not dealing with.
Yeah. And that's important to know because some people will say, oh, don't live in this neighborhood, XYZ neighborhood because of XYZ. But, the neighborhoods in and of themselves have their own charm, their own character, their own issues, but they're usually not any different, correct?
Correct. That's exactly true. So what we do is, again, is we just, like with your help, we take advantage of it and try to publicize how wonderful the neighborhood is. The issue now for us is that, well, just like throughout the city, rents are going up, and it's because people are looking for homes. And so happily, I'm happy to see market rate housing being expanded, because those folks won't come in and take over my workforce housing that we have in Corky Row. So you can see our problems, that things that we're addressing, are just standard for any neighborhood.
From what you see in terms of housing in Corky Row, are much of the available units, or the units in general, owner occupied? Are there more, external, absentee landlords there? Or I know that's a problem throughout the city. I guess I wonder if there's any pockets that, well, there's mainly owner occupied, and a lot of times those rents can be a little lower because the owners in the house may have had it for a long time, and a lot of times there's more stability in terms of who that landlord rents those apartments to.
Right. So I'm a live-in landlord,
Right.
and I'm a dying breed.
Right.
Especially after 2008 with the crash, you had people walking away from properties. Corporations bought these houses, or they were just investors, which, again, we love them. Thank you for buying these buildings. Thank you for renovating them. It makes the neighborhood look much, much better. People don't use these houses as for drugs or for the homeless. So very, very grateful, even if you don't live in the building, but overwhelmingly, these are going to be owned by real estate agents or organizations like that, or are going to be, we're going to avoid the term absentee.
Right.
We're going to say that, they're not live-in landlords, which is the ideal. I know that's your point, but it's a new age, and that this is a challenge. And yes, your point about, if you live in the building, or if your family has owned the buildings for a long period of time, the mortgage is usually paid off, the rents are lower. But that's also a challenge too. Getting the buildings renovated means they've been turned over.
Yeah. How do you try to get the word out about what's happening in the neighborhood? You said there isn't great attendance for the meetings. How do you try to share information with your neighborhood?
So we have a Facebook page. We try to get that out. So when we have our events in the park, for example, we give people information on how to go to the Facebook page, how to come to the meetings. This year, we're going to do a door hanging initiative. So we'll go ahead and get door hangers in introducing the Neighborhood Association, but also having our schedule of events on it. So folks, it'll be a little bit more active type of communication versus people coming to us. We'll be going to them.
Let's talk about some of those events. I know we're in early February. March is right around the corner, thank goodness. Hopefully warmer weather. And of course, I know St. Patrick's Day is a big holiday for the neighborhood.
Right. Sure is. Before I forget, I want
Sure.
to thank the Narrows for, music in the park. I mean, again, this is the highest quality you're going to get in this region. And so I'm really very grateful to them. So we will start off with St. Patrick's Day on March 17th, as we do every year, has been going on for generations. And that'll be held in the Corky Row Club. And there's more information coming out about that. So that's the first thing. And then we host an annual Easter egg hunt in the park itself. So parents can bring their children out. They don't have to go traveling to some other park. And like I said, many of them can't. So then we'll go right into that. Then eventually what we'll do is we'll have what we call our Community Day. We do that every single year. That's going to be in June. And that's where we have free food, free fun, all kinds of things, and a 3-on-3 basketball tournament with cash prizes. Immediately following that, we begin our youth program, where we meet with the kids every Wednesday evening. We teach them a Bible lesson, and then we play with them until the sun goes down. And that continues on until we get to Halloween. We've been hosting our Halloween party there every October. We've been doing that all the way back to the COVID days. And again, a great and safe opportunity for parents to bring their children out to have a fun evening in the park and go trick-or-treating. Eventually, it all comes down to our Christmas party that we host the Saturday before Christmas every year in the Corky Row Club.
So pretty much our time right now is your hiatus in many ways, right?
It is. This is where I go on vacation.
There you go. So obviously running these events, you need money to do that. How does the association raise funds?
Donations. We have a primary donor who helps us. And then there are other ways that folks, if they want to donate to us, can. And you can find that on the website, on the the Facebook page.
Right. And, I know you're always interested in getting more people into the meetings. How do you try to do that other than just still communicating? You said the door hanger campaign that may actually help.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, how do you hope to get more people to those meetings?
Right. In addition to all of that, the key really is that we do other events, that we could use people's help. Like, for example, we do a park cleanup, and that's usually done in conjunction with the citywide cleanup. We do other things where we go out and just clean streets. And when people come out, and a lot of people come out and thank us, and we invite them also to the Neighborhood Association. And then, of course, just being in the park when we're doing our youth events, people come in and we get to meet with them as well, because they're either bringing their children there or just coming to enjoy the park itself. I'll have a business card and other invitations for them as well.
So the best way to contact you is via the Facebook page?
It is.
Yeah. All right. And you can find that. Is it just Corky Row Neighborhood Association? Very simple?
That's simple.
All right. Mark, I appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll continue this conversation moving forward so we can share more great news from what's happening in Corky Row.
Thank you very much.
All right. And thank you for joining us here at FRC Media. Have a great day.